come and theorize real quick. As I start to develop knowledge of the martial arts and different stuff that human beings can do that have a soul, I think of the Green Lanterns. It's been shown to me that I'm one of the Green Lanterns, even though I'm not developed yet. I don't have fighting skills, but I'm learning the mental and spiritual stuff of the Green Lanterns. Which another way of putting Green Lanterns are ninjas. The ninjas or the martial artists that are highly developed. But and I think the Japanese have known about this for a long time, and it might have had something to do. I don't know if the movie was the Philadelphia experiment or what, where the U.S. Navy ship like tried to use some kind of electricity or some kind of atomic thing and to put to cloak their ship and make it disappear, and it really went really bad, and like some of the sailors got like bonded with the metal of the ship and got all fucked up. Something was going on, and maybe that had something to do with Pearl Harbor and the United States of America dropping nuclear bombs in Japan. Something was going on that I don't know of. And some people know, but I don't know. As I realize I'm being led by the Holy Spirit, by Trump, and by the page called Happy Faces Goal and different stuff, I'm seeing that the Asian, like especially the Japanese, have known about human beings can actually cloak themselves. Maybe not totally, but some people maybe even totally. A human being that is highly developed as a Green Lantern can make their physical appearance to other humans disappear, if not totally, very much. And as I watch myself as I'm learning this stuff, like on my YouTube videos last night, I would walk by and I wasn't doing anything. Like you would see a cloud of blurriness come when I would leave. There'd be a cloud of different stuff that didn't make sense. And then by the morning, the corrupt people on YouTube and Google come in and basically use, how there's like a auto pitch correction on singing where there's a program that automatically dials in the pitch. There's like pitch correction with videos too. Corrupt people can come in and they can dial, like imagine I'm doing this. They can come in and they can dial my image clean so there's no blurs. They can kind of undo any magic that could be seen on camera of me. Call it video pitch correction or whatever. They can make sure there's no blurs, there's no spirits moving. They can dial it in and make it look like really boring. They can erase any unusual things that I would have done. But so here's the things I want to think about. I don't know how to completely do it yet, but I'm starting to develop it. I went live on YouTube the other night. And I sat there in my bed, and I took my spirit to do it, man. I had to take my glasses off because it made it easier for me than didn't have a shield between me and the people that are watching me, a visible shield. I needed to make myself totally transparent, not only with my own vision but my mind and people watching me. I laid there in my bed and basically like thought about myself, and I pictured. I used my mind as an imagination. I used my mind as my eye, even with my eyes open, and I imagined my head being translucent. And and instead of my head being on the bed, you could see the wall behind me. And then I started going. You could see through my chest, see the bed there. You could see through my legs, and I remember I imagined this wall, and I could also see Benjamin Netanyahu over in the east of me, and he was literally to the east, over in Washington D.C., but he's from the Middle East too. I started imagining my head as see through clear. And then someone came into the Instagram live and I started watching them and I tried to imagine I was in I could, although I could see my body, I used my mind's imagination and envisioned my mind transparent see through. Like I was looking at the bed and I was not there, let's say. And as I started doing this, all of a sudden I started feeling, bzzz. I started feeling like really buzzed and I felt myself get sucked into the wall. I got, bzzz. It was kind of unnerving for me. Like, oh my God, what is this? Am I going to lose myself? 1 minute, I realized what I was doing was magnetizing myself and polarizing myself. I was developing a different magnetism. Just like a metal magnet, human beings are magnetic too. Anything that has atoms in it, an electrical charge, including human beings, are magnetic relatively to that thing. So I became magnetic. I allowed my mind to make myself see through. Now, I may not have been completely see through in the camera. I'm working on it, but okay. But at times, I saw when I watched the video and I zoomed in, you could see through my stomach a little bit. You could see the bed underneath me through my stomach. And so I watched the video real quick after I did it, and I was able to zoom in on the screen and go, oh my God, I am a little bit translucent. You can see me. I'm semi-translucent. And then YouTube caught a hold of that really quick and removed my ability. They changed the parameters so I could no longer zoom in the screen. If I try to make the screen bigger on that live, it just says screen adjustable. I can't zoom in anymore. YouTube, because they're crooks, won't allow me to zoom in anymore. So I could see myself. I could literally see through my stomach into the bed. I could see through myself just a little bit, enough I could see my bed through my stomach a little bit. And as I was sitting here imagining this and working on it, I started feeling like I felt like myself suck into the wall almost, and it kind of freaked me out. Like, oh my god, am I going to lose myself? And then alternately, something flipped, and I started feeling really tingly and kind of buzzy. It really, really good. And my physical eyes started seeing a bunch of yellow around me, like a yellow buzz. Like if you rubbed your eyes, you know how your eyes will kind of blur out. What I was doing is becoming magnetic, and my polarity is flipping. At one moment, I think when I sucked into the wall, I don't really think that I sucked into the wall. Well, it kind of felt like I went to the wall, so I might have went in. I might have as I sucked into the wall. No, okay. I'll explain it the best I can as I'm learning. As I envisioned myself see through and clear, I was turning my spirit energy into the ultraviolet range. Like imagine when we're physical human beings just sitting here, we're like green in the middle of the color spectrum, which is also the radiation spectrum. I elevated my vibe a little towards the ultraviolet range, which made me a little bit more on the positive side of vibrations. I think a little more like towards the positive, like more protons and neutrons, less electrons. And then somehow the electrons in the wall around me pulled into me. I pulled in electrons from the wall, and that's why I sucked into the wall. The electrons in the wall bonded into me, and I became semi-translucent. That was one. That was one polarity. So I guess I was the positive charge right now. I get whatever. I don't know. If, yeah, I guess that was called a magnetically positive pole. I was. I became positive, and the electrons from the wall pulled into me, and I became a little bit more translucent. And then alternately, I started, something happened when I saw someone coming on the live, and I looked at the camera. I could see them; they were live watching me. I didn't talk to them, but I stared at them, and I tried to allow myself to not be afraid, even though it's humans with the psychology. Like you want to be a Green Lantern, you have to be unafraid of psychology, unafraid of human strangeness, to be socially odd. Like I used to be gay, or I used to masturbate, suck at a man's penis. I did. I literally did. When I thought I was gay, but I wasn't gay. I was just sick. I was injured. You have to be unafraid of human psychology to really do this. Don't worry about social norms, because then you're trapped. But so as I watched this person in the live, I had previously raised my vibration to ultraviolet, and I felt myself sucking the wall. And really, it's the first time I ever did this. I had to go back afterwards and look up color spectrums and different stuff to understand what's going on. And so I felt myself suck in, but I relaxed. And there's a weird feeling when you start to do that. You almost get a little bit of relief, like it's a buzz. It's almost like you're stoned, man. You feel stoned a little bit, but it's unnerving because you don't know what's going on. You feel a little bit stoned. You know why? Because part of your molecular mass that you feels is given away to the wall. You have less weight to carry. It's weird. You have less weight and stress and pain to carry, but it takes a mental control to allow yourself to be fluid enough to allow it to happen. But then, so that was when I sucked into the wall. I must have become positive on a positive magnetic pole, and the wall became all the electrons from the wall sucked into me in the bed and stuff. Then, as I looked at the person on the camera, suddenly something different happened. I felt very, very buzzed, really buzzed for some reason, and everything became yellow above me. And like my eyes became yellow as if I rubbed them. I was like, bzzz, I was buzzing, and I was still tripping. Like, what the hell? Because that was different. It was opposite of what I felt when I sucked into the wall. So I must have became in the infrared spectrum that time. I must have went to the infrared spectrum and became more negatively charged, and I got. As a matter of fact, I was looking forward, which is to the west when I started turning yellow. When I wasn't turning yellow, but I could see yellow. And there's a person watching me. And probably, there might have been a whole lot of people in live watching me. That's a lot of protons and neutrons. That's a lot of physical matter. So I became the red wave. I became imagine green is a visible spectrum to go elevate your vibrations, become positively charged, magnetically charged. And then I sucked into the wall because the electrons pulled into me. And when I watched all these people watching me, there's more physical mass of them. And I became negative, the negatively charged, and I sucked into them, and I could see yellow, and it was a trip, man. But I think the Japanese have known about this forever. This might be part of the secret of the Philadelphia experiment, and Pearl Harbor, and fucking, of course it was a fucking Democrat president that bombed Japan. Something with Trump was going on. I bet you it's more our president because he was a Democrat, man. It's a bad sign. Japan was a lot more innocent than our president. Something is not being told about to us um, anywhere in the world, at least in America. Something's being lied about. I can try to make myself a little bit translucent, and it's hard. I'm not able to do it. I don't think I can do it right now. Wait a minute. And if I do start to do it, it just flickers just a little bit below the. You'll see me visible, and you'll see the lights flickering a little bit. I won't totally disappear, but almost see me as translucent if I start to do it. The lights will flicker and stuff. I think it's easier for me to do it without my glasses on, but I want to try to do it with my glasses. I'll try it without my glasses on. I have to work on it. I don't know if I can do it. I can't do it yet. But I think that's what happens is when you make your body fluid, your mind is basically an electronic, I mean, an electrical, or you want to call it molecular or atomic radioactive. It's radioactive because every light is radioactivity. My voice is radioactivity. To tell you the truth, I'm pushing sound waves and all kinds of electricity. Everything is radioactive. Molecules are radioactive. Atoms, everything. So I made myself fluid enough that I started to a little bit disappear. And when I became the ultraviolet side, which is towards the bzzz, I'm out here's a bass wave, whoa, 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 whoa. Like a bass guitar is a bass wave, whoa, whoa, whoa. And a guitar is bzzz, really loud and intense, bright. Green is right here at the visible spectrum. Ultraviolet is more like a guitar, and you turn you turn you have to imagine it and make your body not visible. It's hard. It's a mental thing, and it's only going to be part way. I don't know. I have to learn it. And when I went down below the spectrum, I became negative and got pulled into the people. Everything became yellow, and there's a pleasant buzz. But if you do this, you have to. It takes practice, man. But you're magnetizing yourself and allowing yourself to be a free flowing spirit, free flowing physical matter, and it takes probably a lot of skill that I don't have yet. But something has been told to me that even when I'm doing these things, I won't see them as much as you might. It won't be visible to me, but it'll be more visible to you what I'm doing. And okay, God, if you want to help me disappear, become semi-translucent, disappear right now, if possible. I don't know, but it might be more visible to you than me. I don't think I'm doing it right now, but if I am, I can't see it. But YouTube, just like this auto correction, you'll hear someone singing, and you can hear the auto tune sucks their pitch in a line. You could do that with video too. If I start blurring the screen and shit, I'm literally blurring it by energy. They can auto tune. They can auto tune the screen back into place so there's no blurring. I don't know if I can do it with glasses on. With glasses, I might stop some of the energy. I think it blocks some of my ability to flow the electrons with glasses on. I don't know. I'm learning. I have a long ways to go, and I don't have physical fighting skills. I have conceptual thought. That's all I have. But yeah, I think something was going on with Pearl Harbor, Hiroshima and Nagasaki that our piece of shit Democrat president did to them. Something was going on even before Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. Something corrupt was going on between the fucking crooked Democrats. There's probably crooked leadership in Japan too. At the time, I don't know who was running Japan at the time, but Shigeru Ishiba, I believe, is the prime minister of Japan. I don't think he's a bad man at all. And you hear people fucking saying Trump forgot Shigeru Ishiba's name, called him Mr. Japan, and he forgot Tim Cook's name and called him Mr. Apple. You know why? Trump likes Shigeru Ishiba. He's the best representation of Japan. And Trump likes Tim Cook. He didn't like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs wouldn't have died of pancreatic cancer unless he was doing a lot of shit wrong. Steve Jobs was very corrupt. Very corrupt. So when Trump is careful, he says, don't let the leftist toots or the fake Republicans say, Trump forgot Shigeru Ishiba's name. Trump likes Mr. Japan. Shigeru Ishiba. I like him too. And I don't know much about Tim Cook, but I bet he's got to be a lot better than Steve Jobs. I bet you. That's why Trump called him Mr. Apple. Imagine that Trump called me, in a sense, Mr. MAGA, or Mr. Martial Artist, or Mr. America. Not because he forgot my name, because I'm a good representation, a good example, what you should be. Talk to you later.